I want to tell you a story about love, hope, death, and ideology. But before I get into the story, because the story is also about Jouvay and why I call myself a Jouvayist, I want to ask the permission of all of the Jouvay Jumbies that walk with us in Port of Spain. I want to ask their permission to speak and tell their stories and speak their truths so that we will understand and we will know why Jouvay is so important to us. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Okay, so Jouvay, if you're one of these unfortunate people who never had the pleasure of experiencing a Jouvay morning for yourself, let me explain to you what Jouvay is. Jouvay is the opening of Carnival. It is the first thing that happens on Carnival Monday morning. So close your eyes and picture yourself on the streets of Port of Spain or Scarborough or San Fernando or Quezay in San Juan, Tunapuna, wherever you are. And you haven't slept in about 2 weeks because it's Carnival and you want to do everything. So you haven't slept in about 2 weeks, so you're tired, but you're excited because it's Jouvay morning. And you have on a slightly ridiculous costume. It could be a plastic bag, it could be a grandmother nightie, it could be a posy on your head, all those sorts of ridiculous things. And you go out into the streets of Port of Spain, or wherever you are, and you start to see your friends. Looking for my friends. I know I see some of them before. I see Martina. Hey! And I see Wendell. And I see Keegan. And I see all of these people. And we meet at the junction. And we embrace each other. And in that embrace, we have paint or mud or oil or something that somebody was boiling from 2 weeks ago. Because you know everybody have their own Jouvay obia, right? And in that greeting and in that anointing of each other, we start to change each other's appearance. We start to change how we look. We start to free ourselves of that tyranny of beauty that exists at Carnival time. That is only one idea of what beauty is. We start to challenge that and we start to free ourselves of that. Because at the root of it, Jouvay is not just about the wine and jam. Well, nothing is really just about the wine and jam, although whining is very, very important. Don't get me wrong. Jouvay is not just about the wine and jam. Jouvay, in its original manifestation, was a celebration of emancipation. It was first celebrated in those early hours of emancipation morning. So Jouvay, when those newly emancipated people went out onto the streets, they were celebrating freedom, but they were also saying to the colonial authorities, in no uncertain terms, in their songs and in their dances, in their masquerades, they were saying to the society their freedom would always be something that they would fight for. Jouvay is that ritual of remembrance. Jouvay is that connection to the horrors of enslavement. Jouvay is that time when we say, look me. I'm free, and I'm very, very happy for that privilege. And it's something that I want to fight for. Right. Okay. So we go in, we chip in, right? We chip in. Anybody know what chip in is? It's an energy-saving device, but as but as the dancer and choreographer, Professor Jeff Henry, points out, chip-in, that action, is also what you see in your Orisha yards when you're propitiating Eshu, the guardian of the crossroads, that Yoruba deity, who creates divine order out of chaos. So we don't even understand what we are doing as we move, chipping down the road towards the savannah. We're calling up all kind of jambi. And as the sun starts to come up over Laventil Hill, sun coming up, and then all of a sudden you start to see your friends, You start to see the art that you made with your friends, because Jouvay is a living canvas. Jouvay is a kind of art that is just so amazing because it changes from when you leave by the stadium to when you reach by Arapita Avenue. Your whole appearance changes. And when the sun comes up, you might be passing a building and you see yourself and you go, that's me? And you see yourself and you see all sorts of possibilities, all sorts of things that you never imagined from since when you were small. When you were small and you thought that anything was possible, anything that you could dream about could be possible. In that moment, you see those possibilities again. You see those possibilities and you say, wow, I could do this. I could do this. I could be this. I could be whatever it is I want to be. Be beyond all the boxes that your society says that you must be in. You reject those things. You take with you that spirit of liberation, that spirit that says, this is not just about this moment. This is not just about what we're feeling right here. This is something that we're tapping into that goes way, way, way beyond just these shores. It connects us to the whole Caribbean, to that whole spirit of rebellion and marronage that has lived through us since 1637 with Arima standing against the Spanish in Arima. Give me my little thing then. We have to call up these energies. And then you go to the Garifuna chief, Chatoyer, in 1795, standing against the British. And then of course you have Haiti. Haiti, how we could forget Haiti. That first set of mad Africans who walk into those bayonets of the French and say, listen, no, this is not for us. This is not for us. And declare themselves with all their audacity to be a free black republic in the Western Hemisphere. And for that, we're still making them suffer. And of course, right around the corner, 1903, Mzumbo Lazar, one of the first black lawyers to go to the bar here. But he was agitating, and then next thing you know, he had something called the Water Riots in 1903. And I could go on, I could call all kind of name, because I have plenty names to call, but I want to call one name that we hardly hear at all, and that is the name of Claudia Jones. Claudia Jones was born in Belmont. She left here when she was 11. She went to live in the States and got involved in all kind of bacchanal with the people and them communism and thing, and then they decided to deport her, right? But because she was such a troublemaker, she was not allowed to come back to Trinidad. So she was given asylum in the UK. And when she arrived in the UK, what was going on there? It was just the Windrush generation arriving in the UK. And all of a sudden, English people had to confront their colonial history, and they didn't want to confront it. So there were things called race riots. And so in 1958, Claudia Jones, who articulated and acted on something that she said, a people's art is the genesis of their freedom. A people's art is the genesis of their freedom. And so she then organized the first carnival, that first carnival in 1958. And she is actually buried right to the left of Karl Marx in the Highgate Cemetery in London. And as I say the name Marx, I want to go to a little island just up the road from us. I want to talk about a man with a scratchy beard and a pristine shirt jack. His name for me was Uncle Maurice. That's what I used to call him. And, well, he was the Prime Minister of Grenada. That was neither here nor there for me. He was my Uncle Maurice. The last time I saw him was in July of 1983. And he was here for a heads of government meeting. And he was teasing my mother because she's overprotective, right? And so he wanted my sister, my eldest sister, to come to Grenada to take part in the youth revolutionary movement. He was saying, oh, you revolutionaries who don't like your children to be involved in revolution. What you know there? And they were having this jokey little exchange because he wanted her to come and be a part of their youth revolutionary movement that Christmas. Christmas never came for Uncle Maurice because that October, what had started off as an ideological dispute between him and the Bernard Cord-led faction of the New Jewel movement, well, it ended in a hail of bullets at a fort called Rupert. And what I understood from my readings and from my trying to reconnect to that history, that rebellion history that connected me to Uncle Maurice, is that what he was trying to do was he was trying to build a revolution from the ground. He was trying to get everybody involved in reconditioning themselves to say, okay, this revolution belongs to me, this island belongs to me. How am I involved as a farmer, as a teacher, as a student, as a woman? How are we all involved? But of course, the Bernard Cord-led faction wanted to have a more textbook Marxist-Leninist revolution. And for me, I mean, if the textbook not working, throw it away. And, Jouvay is about throwing away that textbook. And that is what Uncle Maurice was trying to do as well. He was trying to throw away the textbook and he was trying to say, let us build for ourselves a vision that is true to us. How are we doing that? How are we building something that is true to us? So I went to the wall this year. Yeah, that's the wall. That's where they lined them up and shot them. And I ran my hands against that back wall there. You can still feel the bullets because there was quite a few of them that they killed there. And I guess I was looking for answers. I guess I was looking for something that would tell me something about myself. But I guess that wasn't the place for me to look. You see, everything that I am is in me. It was in the stories that I remembered of Uncle Maurice. And it was also in how my mother and father surrounded me with context. They always gave me context for everything. So the legacy of my name is Attillah. And, everybody's like, Attillah the Hun? Yeah, if I had $1 for every time somebody said that to me, I'd be rich. And so I have to go, yes, well, I was named after Malcolm X's daughter. And I have to get into this whole explanation. My father named me after Malcolm X's daughter because he was so inspired by what Malcolm X articulated about a Pan-African dream for young black men that he followed him into this movement. He followed him into this movement for people to build from the bottom and give themselves a sense of themselves. And so, of course, for that, my father spent a little time on Nelson Island prison colony during 1970, during the Black Power uprising. So there's that. So all of that is what I take with me in Jouvay morning. And then also, too, the legacy of my grandmother, Ida Marie Guerra Artley, who only went to school until 4th standard. But you know what she used to do? She used to give us a few grains of corn and a few grains of pigeon peas and some sorrel and that kind of thing, because she understood that if you don't take responsibility for your food, then your revolution fails. And you have to be able to feed not just your body, but your soul, your spirit, your mind. All of those things are important. And then I was never really a big fan of school, but there was one teacher called Barbara Jenkins, who is here, who is looking embarrassed. She was my geography teacher, and she was able to articulate something to me that the struggle of my generation would be the environment. I don't think that she knows how much what she was able to subtly articulate in her classes, how that has followed me to the strangest places, from Iceland to India to all over the place. She doesn't know, but yeah, thank you, Mrs. Jenkins. And finally, in the elders that I'm surrounded by all the time, like Uncle Ravi Ji from the Hindu Prachar Kendra, who told me this story about this place, this time when there was the Jouvay riots in 1884. And the Jouvay riots, everybody knows Jouvay. Jouvay is a Shia Muslim festival that happens once or twice a year, and it usually happens in St. James or Cedros. And the same Captain Baker, who in 1881 had tried to stop the People's Carnival in Port of Spain, is the same Captain Baker who then in 1884 was going on and opening fire on the people of San Fernando, who were not just Shia Muslims taking part in this procession, they were Africans and Payol from the coffee and cocoa estates. So that idea of solidarity, that idea that all of us are invested in social justice, but that it starts in that thing that Claudia Jones understood, which is that a people's art is the genesis of their freedom. So, Jouvay morning, and I have a flag, and I could see the savannah in the distance, and this is the darkest hour before the dawn. This is all of us as a planet. This is our darkest hour before the dawn. And so, how are we going to take all of these stories, all of the pain, all of those horrors that we live with every day, that we have not confronted every day? How are we going to take those and then all the hope that we know, because we know that the sun is coming, we know that it's coming, but how do we then put all of those things together into a creative possibility? How do we all get involved from the ground up? Because really and truly, we have not changed. The situation has not changed. It's still a few elites in power. They're still having their governor's ball. And the rest of us are just outside begging for scraps. So how do we remind them and threaten them that our freedom is something that we will always fight for, we will always protest for, we will always create for, in this, our darkest hour before dawn? And as I see the savannah ahead of me, all I can do is remember Maurice Bishop's words, my Uncle Maurice, who used to say something. Anybody know what it is? You know what it is? Forward ever. Oh gosh, are they weak? Forward ever. Forward ever. Forward ever. Thank you. Ashe, ashe.